Now on Nightside, a fast-moving fire ignited near a hospital this afternoon, burning buildings and endangering lives. The progress crews have made as they work into the night to fight the flames.
Showers and thunderstorms across the region today, and we are far from finished with the wet and windy weather. I'll let you know what to expect for Wednesday in the first alert forecast.
And tonight, voters in the West Bonner School District decided to recall 2 of their school board members. The controversy surrounding these 2. You're watching 4 News Now, Nightside. And thanks for staying up with us tonight. I'm Kirsten O'Connor. Right now, fire crews are still battling a fire burning near Orofino, Idaho. In video that we've gotten into our newsroom, you can see the flames burning on top of that hill. Crews have the fire surrounded at this hour by a dozer line, but it is still not contained at all. Firefighters are waiting for the risk of lightning to pass before they start mop-ups. Orofino is about 40 miles east of Lewiston. The Clearwater County Sheriff's Office says the fire has already burned multiple structures, and anyone living near Wixon Heights in that neighborhood was evacuated tonight. Tomorrow, law enforcement is going to start escorting residents back in starting at 7 a.m. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. And a lot of lightning in that area tonight as we were checking our radar. Chief Meteorologist Chris Crocker joins us now with a look at how those storms have progressed into the evening hours.
Well, the bulk of the lightning has tapered off now. Here's a look at our radar presently, and down around the Orofino area, we're just seeing rain right now. Seeing a little bit of convection in parts of Benewah County. Would not be surprised if you hear a rumble of thunder overnight, but for the most part, we are going to be just dealing with rain in extreme eastern Washington and North Idaho. We do, however, have some thunderstorm activity around the Wenatchee area and north of Moses Lake. That's where we have a much better chance to continue to hear those rumbles of thunder overnight. Here's our forecast radar starting at midnight, and we are going to keep that rain going overnight, especially through the Northeast Mountains and North Idaho, but expect a showery start to the day around Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, with wet weather making its way down into Moscow and Pullman as well. Winds are going to be picking up overnight, and expect a windy start to the day on Wednesday. These are sustained winds, but we're going to be seeing wind gusts up to 30 miles per hour, and that will continue through most of the day on Wednesday, but especially in the morning. It is going to be a windy day. A good chance of rain through about 3 p.m. and then we start to dry out a little bit. High temperature up in the upper 60s, more than 10 degrees below our average high of 80. I'll be back with your 7-day forecast plus an early look at the Labor Day weekend outlook in just a few minutes. Kirsten?
Thank you, Chris. Well, tonight, voters in the West Bonner School District decided to recall 2 of their school board members, Susan Brown and Keith Rutledge. Susan Brown was removed with just over 65% of the vote in favor of her recall. Keith Rutledge was removed with just over 62% in favor of his recall. Now, organizers blame the pair for canceling a purchase of a language arts curriculum 2 months after it was approved. Now, that left the school district without a plan, forcing the district to pay to return the materials. Keith Rutledge told 4 News Now that the board is working on obtaining a new curriculum that won't cost the district anything. A Washington man accused of participating in the January 6th U.S. Capitol riots appeared in Spokane federal court today. 21-year-old Elliot Williams is facing 4 charges. If convicted, the maximum penalty he could face is 3 years in custody and more than $200,000 in fines. According to court documents, Williams admitted to federal agents he flew into Washington, D.C. on the morning of January 6th to specifically participate in the Stop the Steal rally. These photos you're seeing, included in court documents, show Williams in several areas of the Capitol building. Court documents say Williams was identified by someone who knew him through social interactions in the Spokane area. His next appearance is scheduled for September 12th in Washington, D.C., where he will appear over Zoom. Williams will not be detained between now and then and is not allowed to leave Eastern Washington unless ordered by the court. Well, a Spokane County judge has ruled to change the language of ballot measure 1, a measure that would provide more taxpayer dollars toward law enforcement and criminal justice. Judge Tony Hazel ruled today that the measure's language should include plans to use some of the money toward correctional infrastructure and building and improving jails or correctional facilities. The language about new jail sites wasn't in the original measure, and petitioners made up of civil rights groups brought it before the court.
Both sides of this issue care deeply about our community. That's not lost on me. And I hope you all continue to care about our community, because that's what makes a great community, is when people step up and participate. Not everyone.
Well, the county auditor will adopt the new language for Measure 1 and add it to the ballots. The general election is November 7th.
Time for a look at sports. I'm Julian Minnesone. We are just a few days away from Washington State football's season opener. The Cougars will take on Colorado State on the road on Saturday. Now, Washington State isn't used to being away from home to start the season. Excluding the 2020 COVID year, this will be the first time Washington State has opened the season on the road since 2018. Cougars head coach Jake Dickert prefers to start the season at home, but the players say there's a lot to learn from an early road trip.
Just going to a different environment, getting out of Pullman, bringing Pullman to a new city and showing what our culture is and what our brand of football is on somebody else's field. I think that's not only demoralizing for the other team, but it's a confidence thing for not only the Cougs, but just being able to win on the road and get familiar with the travel. So then when week 4, week 5 comes around and you travel for the next time, you're not unfamiliar with it.
The kickoff between Washington State and Colorado State is at 4 o'clock on Saturday. And, of course, we'll have coverage for you right here on 4 News Now. That'll wrap us up for sports.
Despite losing her own home to the fires in Spokane County, one Medical Lake educator wants to help restore hope and joy for students who may have had the same tragedy happen to them. Her story next on Nightside.
4 News Now on your time with Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Give your day a little Kelly.
Watch Kelly weekdays at 4.
Fresh produce is the best produce. That's why at Fred Meyer, we invest in local farmers to bring you the freshest seasonal picks. So no matter how you shop, your local produce always tastes as fresh as it gets. Fred Meyer, fresh for everyone.
It's showtime. 10 days of fair fun starts Friday, September 8th. All school employees, private and public, receive free admission on Sunday, September 17th. Learn more at thespokanefair.com.
Hi, I'm Ken.
And I'm Donnie.
We lead the Advocates.
The Advocates fight for each of our injured clients. We take on big insurance and get big results.
We're both advocates, but we're very different from each other.
That's true.
I say potato, she says...
Potato.
Oh, I guess we're the same there.
Potato. Do people say that a different way?
Potato.
Who says it that way?
Never mind. Injured? You deserve an advocate.
Winning a new Yukon Denali at Northern Quest is easy. Sending your other car to live on a farm upstate? Well, you'll get over it. Don't miss the $116,000 Yukon Rush giveaway with the grand prize drawing on September 29th at Northern Quest. Play daily with your Camus Rewards card to enter, and you could be driving home in a brand new GMC Yukon Denali at the end of the month. Details at northernquest.com.
Pop the champagne, humanity. We've done it.
Celebrate your night with big winners, shocking thrills, and living legends.
I've always thought of you as Dave Jr.
Every hair on my body is standing up right now.
Jimmy Kimmel Live, weeknights on ABC.
At Fred Meyer, everyone wins when it comes to savings because you get the same great prices, deals, and rewards on pickup or delivery as you do in store. So no matter how you shop, everyone saves big. Fred Meyer, fresh for everyone.
4 News Now is brought to you by the Coeur d'Alene Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Thanks for staying up with us. Hundreds of students and staff in Medical Lake will be returning to class tomorrow. Despite losing her own house to the fire, one educator wants to help bring her students some sense of normalcy. Amy Burris grew up in Medical Lake. She's a para-educator for students who need special care at Hallett Elementary. As you saw in those photos, her home was destroyed in the Gray fire. And as students are returning to classrooms in Medical Lake tomorrow, Burra says her goal is to prioritize mental health support.
It's the first service that we're going to provide. What do our kids need, support-wise? Because you got to look at the kid first.
Well, she says a sense of normalcy is what students deserve in the midst of so much tragedy right now. She says she will continue to work toward rebuilding her community together. We've heard so many stories from the Medical Lake community that have shown its resilience throughout the tragedy of the Gray Fire. Tonight, a man whose heroic deed to protect homes cost him his own house. Spokane Valley Fire Captain Dwayne Hughes was fighting the flames near Lakeland Village when he found out his home was also under evacuation orders. So he texted his wife that she needed to leave and continued on with his work. He says he saved at least 6 homes and lost 1. Later that evening, Hughes went back to check in on his place, and on the way there, he stopped several more times to save more homes. When he arrived to his, everything was destroyed.
Once I saw everything, it was kind of like, oh, wow, this isn't good, but, I couldn't dwell on that. We had other work to do, so we just turned around and started back.
Captain Hughes and his wife were underinsured. They recently rented out a 1-bedroom, 600-square-foot apartment. Another Spokane Valley Fire employee also lost their home. If you'd like to help them, look for this story on our website at kxly.com. An affordable housing community for senior citizens in Medical Lake was forced to evacuate the night of the Gray Fire. So to help them out, Catholic Charities Eastern Washington waived September's rent for tenants at the Hearthstone Apartments. One woman living there says she was displaced for 4 days. She describes the night of the Gray Fire as terrifying.
The blessings of that rent stipend puts all the food back into my refrigerator that 4 days of no power spoiled. So because of Catholic Charities picking up this month's rent, everything's back to normal, and without them I would have been hungry.
Donna Heron, who you just heard from, says the extra money will also go to her grandkids, and she's just happy that everyone is safe. While the threat of the Gray and Oregon Road fires may have passed, the effects of these fires are going to be felt for months, even years, with families just starting the long process of rebuilding. We know many of you want to help, but many of us can't afford to donate hundreds of dollars to help people who have lost everything. And that's why all day Thursday on TV, online, and on the radio, 4 News Now will be sharing little things that you can do that can go a long way. It's all a part of our Here to Help special, again, airing all day on Thursday.
Well, here are 4 things to know about your weather. We've got rain coming overnight and windy conditions. It is going to be a soggy Wednesday. Those winds are going to be gusting up to 30 miles per hour, 35 possible on Wednesday. High temperatures only in the 60s for the next couple of days. And the heaviest precipitation is expected to be through the Okanagan Valley and Highlands, through the Northeast Mountains, down through North Idaho and into the Central Panhandle, where we do have a flood watch through the day on Wednesday. Here's a look at our forecast radar starting off at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. And we are seeing some of those brighter yellows in those areas I just described. And that's where we are going to continue to see the steady rains throughout the day tomorrow. Here's noon tomorrow. Then we start to see that precipitation pushing all into Idaho, where we are drying out in eastern Washington by 3 o'clock. As we get into the evening, then we dry off across the rest of the region. Here's a look at our wind speeds for tomorrow. They are going to be the strongest in the morning in terms of sustained winds, 21-mile-per-hour sustained winds, and then they slowly taper off through the evening. But again, this does not account for those gusts, which we could see in the 30 to 35-mile-per-hour range. Overnight lows tonight will be down in the 50s. Our high temperatures tomorrow only in the 60s. You could see where the wetter weather is. We have much cooler conditions conditions. So 60s in North Idaho and extreme eastern Washington. But then once we get over into the Columbia Basin, we have a lot warmer weather, including 78 in Moses Lake and Grand Coulee and 74 in Ritzville. Here's a look at your planning forecast. Windy and wet tomorrow. Still the possibility of some showers on Thursday and a breezy day and cool. Then we start warming up again as we head into Saturday, 80 and partly cloudy. A slight chance of showers on Saturday, a better chance on Labor Day Monday. I'll be fine-tuning this forecast very closely as we get to the weekend. 68 for a high on Monday. Maybe that's good. Get the kids ready to go back to school with a showery Monday, Kirsten.
Make sure that they get their showers.
Yes.
It's hard enough to get kids to take their showers. All right, thanks, Chris. Hey, make sure that you download the 4 News Now weather app as we're going back to school to keep up with the forecast near you. Take advantage of the hour-by-hour temperatures, the interactive radar, and turn on notifications to get important alerts sent straight to your phone. Search KXLY in your app store to download it now. Well, the Oregon Road fire near Elk has now burned around 11,000 acres, destroying 126 homes. As homeowners return to find debris and ash, some are looking to rebuild. What you see on your screen now is all that's left of the Monaghan's home and business in Elk. They say they are ready to move forward and start rebuilding, but those plans are on hold while they wait to hear from their insurance company.
No, it takes time. But I'm kind of forced to stare at this destruction, and I can't really clean anything or start a build until someone comes up here.
Despite waiting on insurance, Brendan says that he's been blown away by the community's kindness during this tragedy. Here's what people are clicking on most on KXLY.com. A man suspected of recklessly burning near the Oregon Road fire has been arrested. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office says they found 40-year-old Michael Reed placing firewood into a fire that was already 4 feet tall. Reed tried to leave and deputies detained him. After checking the fire, deputies say Reed was burning railroad ties soaked in oil, and they found an open plastic juice bottle with gasoline on the ground around 5 feet from the fire. Reed told deputies that he started the fire and did not know of the county-wide burn restrictions in effect. Well, as crews get a handle on both the Gray and Oregon Road fires, people in the Elk and Medical Lake areas have slowly been allowed to return back to their homes. We've been telling their stories all evening here. Firefighters saying the biggest concerns people need to watch out for are natural hazards like hot spots.
Usually those are indicated through smoldering stump holes, which in many cases are demonstrated by having ash on the ground and crumbly soils.
Another major concern, power lines. Fire officials say there may be situations where power lines that have not been turned back on are still on the ground. Both fire crews and power companies are working around the clock to clear fallen power lines. Still ahead, why Coeur d'Alene Public Schools is now pumping the brakes on a plan to eliminate some student bus stops. That's next on Nightside.
Later tonight on Nightline, Hurricane Idalia takes aim at Florida's Gulf Coast. The latest timing and track as some residents are told to get out. Plus, are we really alone? An insight look at the Pentagon's hunt for UFOs.
Sign up for breaking news alerts with the 4 News Now app.
Send them back to school looking and seeing their best. Get premium eyewear and A+ patient care from the experienced team at Shopko Optical. Cross off eye exams on your back-to-school checklist. Schedule their comprehensive exam today.
Set summer in motion with the most adventurous Honda vehicles yet, like the Pilot and Passport Trailsport and the Ridgeline, built for better off-road performance and engineered for more adventure. This summer, create your own adventures with Honda, the most awarded brand in car and driver 10 best history. Buy online, reserve from select dealers, or visit your local Honda dealer today.
You know, life is dangerous enough without the negligence of others that cause accidents that threaten your physical and financial health. Hello, I'm Lloyd Herman. If you need legal assistance due to an accident or an injury, put my 40 years of experience of dealing with the insurance companies to work for you. Call my offices here in Spokane. I can help you now. When you call, you'll speak to me, or you'll have an appointment to speak to me within 48 hours. I guarantee it. Lloyd Herman & Associates, 922-6600.
This is your summer to smile, to raise your glass and reconnect, to reel in the fun and savor every bite. To help you get ready, your Aspen Dental team is celebrating 25 years of affordable care with an epic Summer of Smiles event. Don't miss enjoying a moment with our on-site labs to help you fast and 20% off your denture care. So whether you need a new look or a quick fix, you can celebrate with a smile all season, always at Aspen Dental. Book today.
What you see is important. That makes quality eye care important too. Get personalized care from experienced optometrists at Shopko Optical. Better eye care. You'll see. Shopko Optical welcomes more insurance plans than ever. Call to book an exam and verify coverage.
4 News Now is brought to you by R&R RV.
Right now, TJ Menock Drive is full of traffic cones and detours have been in place for months. We've had several people calling into our newsroom wanting to know when the traffic nightmare is going to come to an end. The city says they're on track to completely reopen the road September 15th. This was all part of a $7 million construction project meant to improve the health of the Spokane River, a plan that's been in the works for years.
Oh, that will be exciting when that is open. September 15th, we're holding you to that. Here's a look at our high temperatures today, and it is quite a variety here. It is not very often that Bonners Ferry is one of the warmest spots on the map at 88. Kalispell 92, Missoula 94. Meanwhile, it was only in the 60s, and Ritzville and St. Mary's is basically where we saw the rain today, and a big difference between Spokane and Coeur d'Alene. 86 in Coeur d'Alene, 75 in Spokane. This is going to be a very different map tomorrow, with Bonners Ferry being one of the coolest spots on the map. We are cooling down tomorrow into the 60s for a couple of days. We warm back up and then cool back down again. A little bump in the road there. This black line right here is average though, so we've got a lot of days of below average temperatures as we head into the end of summer. And here's September 6th through the 12th. That blue indicating below average temperatures. Got some heat going on in the south meanwhile, and above average precipitation. So get those school books going full force with some cool wet weather. That should help them, I think. Well, I normally don't use my own pictures for pick of the night, but I had to share this one with you because I wasn't here yesterday. I got a treat, a sunset boat ride with our friends the Throms. Took us to Carlin Bay on Lake Coeur d'Alene for dinner. They have got a place there. It's called Latitudes. I went to write a whole article about this food truck that is just amazing, although maybe I shouldn't, because I think the locals and folks who know about it probably want to try to keep it as big a secret as possible. But it was a beautiful night. My goodness, Lake Coeur d'Alene is gorgeous. People know about it, though. A lot more houses on there since last time I went for a cruise.
Yeah.
Kirsten.
It's showing off in that picture, though. That's for sure.
Really pretty. Yes.
Thanks, Chris. The Coeur d'Alene Public Schools now pumping the brakes on a plan to eliminate some student bus stops. A parent contacted 4 News Now concerned that bus routes were changed so close to the start of the school year. So we contacted the district. It sent out a letter of apology to parents and elected not to go forward with the changes, saying the revised routes would be posted to Info Finder by the end of the day this Friday. To access that link and view a copy of the letter to parents, visit our website, KXLY.com. Around the nation today, the graduate student accused of killing a faculty member at the University of North Carolina in a shooting yesterday did not enter a plea when charged with first-degree murder. It was chaos on campus yesterday as students sheltered in place.
No one knew what was going on. First thing I did, I called my mom, told her I loved her.
Everyone was just panicking. People almost opened the door, and they were told not to open the door, and then finally we got evacuated.
Authorities have not released a motive for the shooting. All university classes were canceled today. The Biden administration has unveiled its list of the first 10 drugs Medicare will negotiate prices on. It includes blood thinners and medications that treat conditions like diabetes, cancer, and heart disease. The Department of Health and Human Services says about 9 million Medicare patients took the medicines on the list and paid nearly $3.5 billion out of pocket last year.
Instead of using all your energy to fight the disease, you're fighting insurance or drug companies for medicines that literally keep you alive. Without them, you're not going to be here.
Those negotiated prices won't take effect until 2026.
Download the 4 News Now app today.
4 News Now is brought to you by Washington Trust Bank.
Let's kick off season lucky number 7 in a big way. Let's talk dirty.
When you go number 2, you do. Excuse me.
Sex always ends this way.
Let me guess, these are things that end with crying?
Michael Strahan hosts The $100,000 Pyramid. Returns with new episodes September 27th on ABC and stream on Hulu.
Oh, life, how we admire you, are deeply fascinated by you. All your twists and turns and wild rides you take us on. The ups and the downs. Life, you live inside all of us, breathing, growing, beating. You are the reason we'll always provide world-class healthcare. Providence, we see the life in you.
Is it your day to water? Know if you are odd or even and be water-wise this summer.
This summer, happiness is a new Chevy. You can go farther, tow more, and bring along everyone you love. Your road to happiness begins in a new Chevy. Get 1.9% financing on all 2023 Silverado 1500 Crew Cab LT Turbo Max pickups, or get $6,000 total cash allowance when you trade in an eligible vehicle. See your hometown Chevy dealer today.
4 News Now anchor team, not just in the newsroom, but in the community. We're doing the work, listening to you, asking questions, and getting the answers you need to help keep your family safe. It's what we mean when we say, expect more on 4 News Now.
The Jennifer Hudson Show is here.
You're going to bless people every day.
Something hits you in your heart. We're doing it all.
Weekdays at 2, only on 4 News Now.
Well, college sports has changed dramatically, but it's also presenting many challenges, and that includes Washington State University. Our Alex Crescenti takes a look at the impact name and image has on the school.
I got a $5 coupon off Domino's when I went to school down there, and so that was kind of our extent. You know,
$5 off a pizza sure doesn't sound like a whole lot, but then again, college sports wasn't the same 40 years ago when Paul Sorensen was wreaking havoc on Pac-10 receivers.
We couldn't work when we went to school. We didn't have full cost of tuition. We didn't have any NIL stuff, and we pretty much were hungry by the end of the month.
Fast forward more than 40 years, and the game is bigger. The players are bigger. And the money, well, you know where that stands. But the landscape changes so quickly, even current players see the impacts.
When I'm watching football, you don't realize all the inner workings that are going on. And so the biggest thing for me was NIL, and I think that started with a kicker over at UCF. But I remember seeing that on national television. I'm like, what is he doing? Like, you know, your degree is everything, and now you're giving that up for YouTube earnings and whatnot, and then just to see that snowball into what it is now.
When the NCAA changed its policy on student athletes making money, name, image, and likeness accounted for a reported $917 million in just the first year alone. But the schools still can't pay the players directly, so third-party collectives were set up as liaisons, if you will. And that's when Sorensen was called upon to help out his university once again.
The whole concept of Cougar Collective, basically we were asked by the institution to set up a collective because they saw this thing coming down the pipe. Where we had some money for the defensive backs, being at EB, that's kind of where we wanted to go. So threw it to the university, says, hey, how do we do this? How does this whole thing work?
Third-party organizations like Cougar Collective help connect athletes to various business opportunities. And even fans can contribute directly to players, helping them earn a little cash on the side.
You have to do Facebook likes, you have to show up in an appearance, you have to, sell your jersey.
Now, more than 100 student athletes are under the Collective umbrella. But with more money comes more problems.
With the Collective itself, how much money do you bring in a given year?
It varies. I don't want to give out a number because then all of a sudden we're pigeonholed, but it's the lowest in the Pac-12, but it's growing. We would be 5th in the Mountain West right now in the Collective. There's 4 schools in the Mountain West that have better collective in terms of funds and fundraising than what Washington State has.
Washington State also ranks 11th in the Pac-12 in total revenue and donor contributions, creating a difficult decision for boosters.
The reality is the donors we've typically gone to over the course of the last 18 months now have other options relative to going directly to our student athletes, and there are impacts that we're going to feel.
And then, of course, there's good old-fashioned tampering.
We've had guys contact our players' parents. We had a coach from another school contact one of our players and offer him NIL, a coach. Okay, so there's more things going on behind the scenes that you can't even imagine.
In your 5 years here, did you ever have anyone that reached out into your DMs or called you, or other schools, coaches? Did that ever happen?
I mean, yeah, but obviously I think, it's like against the rules. So for me, it was very easy just not to reply to it. But again, like you said, it's so crazy how that's changed in recruiting now. Like you said, the businesses can use that because they can have alumni who went to that school and whatnot. But I think, again, if you're using it as a recruitment tool, now we need to figure it out a little bit.
There's definitely ways that people will find a way to reach out to you. It's not that it's illegal, but it's not that it's legal, but if people want to, they'll find a way.
So it seems like your services were requested at some point, possibly.
Yeah, but we're Cougs, so it's like, come on now.
If it hasn't become obvious by now, NIL and the transfer portal aren't going anywhere anytime soon. And universities like WSU can't afford to wait for Congress to bail them out.
I told someone, I said, it's not college basketball anymore. I said, you're right, it's not. It's not what it was, and I don't think I'll ever go back.
And refusing to adapt will only hurt from a competitive standpoint. So what can Washington State do to keep up?
And right now we're behind. And I think that's the reality. I'm okay with saying that because we got to be solution-based, we got to lock arms, and we got to find ways to push forward.
Combine that with the Pac-12 dissolving, and that makes for an uncertain future. But the students, coaches, and alumni see unity as their greatest strength moving forward.
It's not a fun battle. It's not.
Stream 4 News Now on your TV for free with the KXLY Plus app. At 4 News Now, we believe you should expect more from local news. Our team is committed to a community conversation and bringing you information you need when and where you need it. Numerica believes in and supports that mission.
If your checking account isn't earning you money, it's time to switch to bonus checking from Numerica. The account that earns an incredible 2% annual percentage yield. That could earn you up to $500 every year or more.
92.9 CCU.
Hepatitis C, don't just treat it. Crush it with Maverick.
Conquer it with Maverick.
Cure it with Maverick. Maverick cures all types of Hep C.
In only 8 weeks.
The virus multiplies daily and can damage the liver over time. Maverick stops Hep C and cures it. If you've had hepatitis B, it may flare up and cause serious liver problems during and after treatment. Tell your doctor if you've had Hep B, a liver or kidney transplant, other liver problems, HIV, other medical conditions, and all your medicines. Do not take Maverick with atazanavir or rifampin. Report right away yellow skin, stomach pain or swelling, confusion and bleeding or bruising.
Hep C, crush it with Maverick.
Conquer it with Maverick.
Cure it in only 8 weeks. See Hep C gone with Maverick.
Ask your doctor about Maverick. AbbVie could help you save.
It's lined in the air, out into right center field, going back to the back, at the wall, it's gone!
The final homestand for your Spokane Indians at Avista Stadium is August 30th through September 4th. Highlights of the final weekend include Friday, September 2nd, Armed Forces Appreciation and Fireworks Night. Saturday, September 3rd, it's Storybook Princess Night. And Sunday, September 4th is the season finale and a fireworks spectacular. For tickets and game times, go to SpokaneIndians.com.
See breaking news in your area or have a story idea? Contact 4 News Now.
You may hear a rumble of thunder this evening. We've had a little bit of development here just in the last 15 minutes, so don't be surprised if you're rumbled awake. And then tomorrow, rainy, windy.
Yeah. The thunder doesn't bother me. I kind of fall right asleep.
Feels like Florida?
Yeah. Nice and cozy.
Sleep tight.